Thanks for hosting us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Man, this is fun. All right, so we're here with Garrett. We're in the Altitude booth in Miami at Accelerate. Guys are kind of the hosts of this in some ways. How does it feel? This is fun.
It feels great, mate, because we just launched like 5 months ago, really with public launch, and things have moved really, really fast. I feel like the team on Altitude started like 6 people, and now we're probably 30 plus today. And, we just did a fundraise announcement. We have a lot of new features that are launching.
2 million Series A.
18 million. It's like a Series A and a half.
Series A and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. That was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like everywhere last week.
It's funny. Externally, it's awesome. Like, we love it. Brought in a lot of new leads. But like internally, this is, this closed a few months ago, but it's like, we just want to ship. Yep. So this is great. Like, we want people on the platform, but I'm just excited to get it rolling.
Yeah. And you've seen, give people who are just meeting you with the story of, you're very native to Solana coming into Altitude. You've kind of been in the ship since the very beginning. What was that process like to get in? And then just seeing this happen. It's so fun to be with you guys and be here and work with you guys on this, because it's like to have a front row seat of something that's accelerating so fast is really special. What's that been like for you?
It's been pretty amazing. I think if you go back in time, I really got into the Solana ecosystem back after FTX happened. When I think if you looked at the majority of the crypto community and outside the crypto community, they probably thought not only was Solana dead, but the whole industry was dead. But really, we saw some of the builders in the space like Jito, Camino, Helios, et cetera, including Squads. I wasn't at Squads at the time. And we're like, this is an ecosystem you want to double down on because they have the talent that actually sticks around. And now I've been at Squads for like 2.5 years. If we go back in time, Squads started 5 years ago. And they were the multisig of Solana. They secure about 15 billion in value today for 500 plus teams. So in the Solana ecosystem, I'd say we're pretty much used by everyone, right? And it's been great. They move their treasuries on chain, they secure their programs, but it's kind of like once you have capital on chain, it's secure, it's aggregated, you need to make it productive. So it's like, how do I actually run my business? And the stablecoin industry in the last 3 years has absolutely exploded. And we saw more and more teams asking for like, hey, I want to do payroll. I need to pay bills. I need a card. I need invoicing. And we thought about building this into Squads, but it's very clear that the person deploying a program on chain is very different than the CFO that's going to run your financial operations day in, day out. Yep. And that's what Altitude is. Yeah. So Altitude is for the CFO. It is like, you can think about it like a bank account, but it's not. It's more of a financial operating system. And the reason we say that, it's like a bank, it's all you build on top of a bank account, right? And all the services are integrated there. Now, what's going to happen with startups around the globe is that they're more global than their banks, right? They're paying people around the world and do on and off ramps. They're using stablecoins and they want to move fast. That's why we built a financial operating system where we build on Solana, but you can't really tell as a user. It's completely disappeared in the background. But then we plug into these licensed providers around the world to give you ACH, SEPA, SWIFT, and you can start operating like a global business.
Speak a little bit about the role that stablecoins play to unlock this. Last week we were talking with Stephen about just like kind of the bare metal nature that stablecoins provide is dollar accounts and access. What do things like stablecoins unlock for you from a customer access standpoint, geographic standpoint? What's that been like to see from your side?
Yeah. Like Altitude, just to make it really tangible, launched in 150 markets from day one. The reason you can do that is because like when you build a fintech, you have 2 options. You can build on top of a bank, and banks are trying to go more global, right? They start in the US, sometimes they go to Europe next. It takes a really long time to expand markets. We took another path. We didn't build on a bank. We built on top of Solana, like an on-chain programmable account, right? Yep. So you have stablecoins at the core, so you're global by default. That doesn't mean, though, that you can serve everyone in every market, because people need access to things like ACH, SEPA. They need off-ramps in Dubai, et cetera. So that's where we have to work with these partners around the globe. Yep. But when you're dealing with stablecoins at the center of your product and not a bank, you can move much faster because you're no longer getting bank A to get comfortable with bank B and C and D. Instead, we just have stablecoins sitting there and we find partners around the world. Now, this orchestration ecosystem is new. So like where we are today wasn't even possible 2 years ago. And so like this is the worst it's ever going to be. And it's already a pretty damn good product. So like that's what gets me excited.
Yeah, the orchestration piece, when you guys announced the round recently, you mentioned that there was like, what I thought was really interesting was that kind of cohort of orchestrators, or I don't even know if that's the right word to call them, but just like the licensed providers that are integrated. I don't want to get anyone or leave anyone out, but it was Infinite,
Moon. Yeah.
Okay.
And as we see it, like Altitude launched with just Bridge, and Bridge is amazing, right? A lot of people know Bridge. They got acquired by Structure, and they power a lot of our. It's once you have all these partners, it's like, how do you do KYB? Yeah. How do you do customer comms? How do you ensure that every time you bring on a new partner, your customer doesn't have to do KYB again, because you're going to lose them time and time again. So it's crazy how much of.
Have you talked to Nikhil about this at Infinite?
No, but I experienced this firsthand all the time.
You would love Nikhil would love to talk to you about this. He was actually Altitude is sponsored with podcast. We had Nikhil on. They crushed that. And then Borderless, I know we made that connection with
Great
each
team.
other, but like they're very involved in this sort of piece of the stack because it's really complex. Once you start adding more to the table, you almost introduce a whole different layer.
Yes.
When you're just with bridge, it's like kind of simple because you're just with bridge. Yeah, there's an orchestration difficulty here, but
and to do it right is really hard.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know, we were a pure crypto company, permissionless, anyone can use squads, anybody. And then you start getting more in the fintech land where we have not only traditional crypto payments, and we now have cross networks, like you can pay anywhere, but we have ACH, SEPA, Swift, all of that. Then you get into traditional compliance. It's a whole different ballgame. So that's the hardest part of scaling this. And I think it's going to be really important. Banks bundled everything together, which is a great user experience for the last 100 years. The reason why that's great is you KYB with the bank once and you get every service that you need. But the problem is that people are outscaling their banks, especially new companies. Let's say like you've raised $1 million to $5 million, you need to move fast, you probably have a global team. That's who we're trying to build for. And obviously I want to go after the very large companies too, but it's like, who's next? So they lean into new tech. They probably have been like, a lot of people now are remote. They operate around the globe and they're into stablecoins because they know they're faster, they're more efficient, it's cheaper. It takes a special person right now to understand that. But like you see the market adopting this. And so I really would target that $1 million to $5 million funds raise because they're ready for it. Yeah, they see the vision.
I think you guys are doing a great job of going after that, being really clear. Like, hey, we are building this for founders on the frontier. Like, this is who's our target. Talk a little bit about, you know, we're here at Solana Accelerate. You guys have been, your history is extremely embedded, native, and like focused on Solana. But I know that for us as a user, something I'm excited about is to see more networks and more capabilities outside of just Solana. Like, speak a little bit about just the growth of the product and some of the things that you're most excited to see in the remainder of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a few components here. One, if people know that we're squads, is the company. Altitude's one of the products. We came from the Solana ecosystem, so people sometimes think of us as just Solana. Altitude, though, is chain agnostic. Now, a lot of our infrastructure backend is on Solana, but in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have multi-chain pay-ins and payouts. And to me, that's extremely important. Like, I've been pushing for this for a long time. This month is happening. So it doesn't matter if you're on Ethereum, Base, or wherever you are, you just want access to better financial services. That's what Altitude is for. So like, I know the Solana teams really well, right? And that's where we started. They also have very complex operations. It's a great place to start, but that's just the beginning. We're already servicing now, because people always say, like, do you service traditional businesses around the globe? The answer is yes, but it's not like we're dealing with someone who doesn't know stablecoins at all yet. It's usually like a designer, an accountant, a lawyer that probably touches a crypto business in some way. So maybe they have a crypto client, and for the first time, they were asked to receive stablecoins. That's like a perfect user for us. So that's what I'm going after next. And also just like the wider crypto ecosystem at large. And then the next is like, okay, we're abstracting as much of stablecoins as you want. So you don't even have to know that's there. It's just like, I want access to local on and off ramps in all these different markets and better financial services.
Yeah, that's a beautiful experience because right now we use Altitude, and when we pay our vendors, pay our team, like we're withdrawing to external crypto addresses a lot of the time. Even Zach on our team, who you've met, more of a like newer person to the crypto space, to have a wallet. So it's like, okay, go spin up one externally
to pay.
You know, he was doing that on Coinbase. That's great. But what a more delightful experience to just stay in Altitude and like have something like that native. I'm really excited to see that. I think that's going to be, because for me as a business owner, user of Altitude, you kind of want to bring a consolidated experience to people that you work with, or man, I'm just excited to see that. So if Steph is watching, we're on the record this month. It's coming out.
Yeah, you know, people talk about intents in crypto a lot. You heard that? It's kind of like, it's like if you want to trade an asset, you could go to a particular platform and say you want to trade like X or Y, but instead you just abstract all of that. You know what the user wants and you execute it in the back end. The user doesn't have to know how it happens. That's how payments should work, right? Like today you might say, I want ACH, I want stablecoins, I want to send to this network or that one. At the end of the day, it shouldn't matter to you. It's just, I want this person to receive their money now. And that's like what Altitude is building for. So like, again, it's like we talk about stablecoins because like that right now is what's going to enable what we're building. But in like 5 years from now, I don't think that's going to be talked about at all. It'd just be, this is probably a cliche, but it's like, we're building an internet company. Like, of course you are. Of course you are.
It's kind of an interesting thing to just say out there is like, you know, stable dash, stable mind. Like our whole thesis for our media is focused on stable coins, but I completely agree that like people are like, oh, that's so niche. It's like, actually, it's not niche at all. Like this is embedded financial infrastructure for everything. So I don't see it, even what we're talking about as like a niche topic. It's modern money.
People get confused because it's the container. When I say the container, like a tokenized asset, and people are like NFTs, meme coins, stable coins, all the same. It's like, not at all. It's a container for completely different assets and use cases. So I think that's where people kind of get lost. Same thing with like, have you ever used Venmo before? Like, it's like Venmo dollars. You don't necessarily think about that, right? But it's just dollars. It's the same thing when you're using Altitude. The only difference between us and Venmo is an app with one company. Like, we're building on a global distributed ledger, and that's how you can access anyone anywhere.
Yep.
And build a product like Altitude on top.
All right, last question. So we gotta turn the table. 30-second shill. What's the pitch? We're gonna clip this. We're gonna scale you. We're gonna scale the sales team. Like, what's the pitch to the founder? You're hopping on a sales call, and you're like, hey, why should I use Altitude? Like, how is this different than like all these other neo-banking products or things that are out there? Like, what's the
Yeah, the pitch,
sales?
man, just put me on the spot. Put me on the spot, man. I think one thing that's kind of crazy about our team, if you compare it to anyone that's building in this space, is that we've never had a bank account ourselves. We've operated on our own infrastructure and stablecoins for the last 5 years, which is wild. I mean, when I got hired at this company, they're like, we pay in stablecoins. And for me, at first, I was a little shocked. I was like, what do you mean? How am I going to handle that?
It's quite annoying when like these modern stablecoin-native companies are like paying you with like Bill.com.
Okay, so every crypto team out there is not paying in stablecoins. And just, we only get paid in stablecoins. So we have a lot of experience in this space. We're also like out of the Solana ecosystem since 2021. So we come out of crypto, but we also now have more and more like traditional fintech experience. I'm saying this more from a builder side. It's really hard to come into an industry and just like jump on. You see stablecoins as a better technology, and then you often like tack it on to something that already existed. I think we're coming from the opposite end, which gets me really excited because like the fintech space, everyone is building towards the same thing, but they're all building on top of the same thing, which is a bank, or they're trying to become a bank themselves. We're taking the complete opposite approach, which we think if you build on a programmable on-chain account and have stablecoins as like a first-class asset, that is how you can enable faster speeds, better access, and also automation in the long run. So like I can already see the things that we're going to automate in the next like 3 months. But if you jump forward like 2 years from now, I think that's going to be the giant differentiator. An agent with a card is really cool. But like if you want to do treasury management, you can't do that with a card. That is where you need the asset to move permissionlessly on-chain 24/7. And you can do it with guardrails. Like we said, policies, we have rules and permissions. We do all that at a program level. Just sounds technical and abstract, but you can just unlock things that you'd never be able to do on a bank account.
Oh yeah.
So that's what gets me excited.
Altitude.xyz.
XYZ. And hit me up. Yeah. DM me on Twitter, Garrett Harper, @Garrett Harper _. I think.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm excited for today.
Thanks for having me on, man.